Okay, so it seems like lately there's a lot of articles coming out from all over the world talking about the boycott. And I don't know what's happened, but since February, it's really ramped up. Today, I have 4 articles I want to discuss with everyone. The first one discusses the US national parks and how they're now struggling because they got that stupid fee. But also, the UK and Australia are also boycotting the US national parks. The second article is out of the Netherlands, where they're discussing how their citizens are now actively boycotting the US. The third article is still out of Europe, and it says their citizens are now choosing places like Emirates and Asia instead of going to the United States. I can vouch on the Asia part. I went for a walk today around the KLCC area, and there are a lot of Europeans vacationing in Malaysia right now. And the last article, which is my favorite one, is out of Vermont, where their ski slopes are actually suffering because we're not going to visit. I say this one's my favorite because I did a report on them a while ago, and I believe the general manager, whoever it was saying that the Canadians won't be able to resist the good conditions. I don't know, I can't stand that kind of arrogance. But we'll talk about all this in today's video. The backdrop you're looking at today comes from Tony, who sent in this photo from the Algonquin Park in Ontario. Great photos of the Inukshuk's on display. Thanks for sending this in, Tony. Now, I just have a few things I want to show before we get started. The first one, it looks like Disneyland is pushing to get Canada to come back. Now, I don't know if $115 a day is a good deal or not, but I suspect a lot of these theme parks and amusement parks and even tourist attractions in the US are going to start to ramp up their promotions to Canada. So just expect those to come up in the future. Now, this next screenshot actually came up in our Discord server, and it looks like someone from the US posted up the fact that the United States beat Denmark, but they also captioned it as saying, as per our agreement, Greenland is ours now. If you ask me, that's in bad taste. And unfortunately, comments like these are going to happen moving forward, even after the orange guy is gone. Alright, let's get started with the first article. Now, this first article is titled, Canada is now being joined by 2 other countries in the boycott of US national parks. Now, I'm just thinking out loud here, but if you're boycotting the country, then I guess you're automatically boycotting the national parks, aren't you? Anyways, the article starts off by saying it's down 24.3% in January 2026 compared to the same period last year. It also states that the US economy has lost $4.5 billion because of our boycott. Glacier National Park in Montana has saw a 14% decrease. And also Visa Destinations Insight data states that there's a decrease in terms of credit card transactions from 3,293 down to 2,645 in February. Now here's where Australia and UK come in when it comes to the national parks boycott. I'm going to read this part out to you. According to Intrepid Travel, a travel agency headquartered in Australia, bookings for US national parks are currently down 42%. Okay, they just answered my question in terms of boycotting specifically the national parks. Anyways, compared to 2025, Canadian bookings have plunged by 93%, while UK and Australia have also reported significant declines. Some UK travel agencies such as Kazanoff and Lloyd are now canceling plans for tailor-made itineraries centered on the US national parks. And they quoted, "It might not be quite the time to launch something that's dedicated to the United States." Well, no shit. This luxury travel agency has already canceled plans for tours in California, Montana, and Washington. So what does this tell me? I mean, they already reported the Canadian bookings had plunged by 93%. But now the fact that UK and Australia, their specific bookings for the US national parks are significantly down as well. I'll be honest with everyone. 2026 is actually starting out very well when it comes to the boycott. I mean, we have the Orange McNugget to thank for that. When he invaded Venezuela, I mean, that wasn't a good image. And also when he tried to take over Greenland. It makes me wonder how many people are actually going to pay this stupid surcharge to go visit the US national parks. Now, this next article is out of the Netherlands, and it's titled, Fewer people are traveling to the US from the Netherlands. And the Netherlands has plenty of reasons to be upset at the United States. Remember when they removed the panels honoring the black soldiers in World War II? Now, the article talks about the Amsterdam airport taking a 23% decline compared to the same month last year, and bookings to the United States are also down 20%. But this article also says the same thing that another one did in one of my previous videos. It states, given the fact that the World Cup is still planned for July, the timing of this decline is especially jarring. Well, I wouldn't use the word jarring. I would say exciting. It's exciting because of the fact that we have so many clues now that flights from Europe to the United States are down, with the World Cup coming up. It's like being stuck in traffic and you know there's a car crash ahead, but you don't know how bad it is until you actually get there. That's kind of like what I feel like right now. But the fact that there's more reports stating that flights from Europe to the United States are down, and down at the most critical point, which is World Cup, I think that car crash up ahead is going to be pretty bad. But we'll have to wait and see. I mean, we're already into February, and you would think that if the Europeans are going to be going to the United States, they would have already booked their flights and hotels already. But that's just not happening right now. And why are you meowing? Co-host number 2 is actually the one you're hearing in the background right now. She never meows. What? So I'm going to be keeping a close eye on the flights from Europe over to the United States because it's really going to tell how good or bad the World Cup is going to go. And shout out to all of our viewers in Netherlands for holding your grounds and boycotting. Now, this next article is from The Guardian, and it's titled, Europeans Shun US as Emirates and Asia Travel Prove Popular. It states in the article, TUI, which receives most of its booking from customers in Europe, has seen significantly lower demand for travel in the US, according to its chief executive, Sebastian Ebel. And keep in mind, this is when the bookings to the US should be high because of the World Cup. It also states here, a report by the European Travel Commission, which surveyed travelers from Australia, Brazil, Canada, China, Japan, South Korea, and the US, found 42% of long-haul travelers were considering a trip to Europe this year, down from 45%. If you ask me, that 3% spread isn't that much, so I would consider it the same. The article then goes on to talk about why there is a decline in travel, and we know the reasons. I mean, it's ICE, it's CBP, it's visa issues or more visa fees, whatever it is. There's just a whole string of reasons why. But I can definitely vouch for the Europeans traveling to Asia. Now, I can attest to this, being that I'm in Malaysia right now. I have seen a lot more Europeans doing the tourist things around Kuala Lumpur. Now, what I usually do is on the weekends, I'll go walk around. I'll have my headphones on, I'm just walking. And whenever I see someone that doesn't look like they're from Malaysia or they don't live here, I'll just ask them, hey, where are you from? Most of the time, they'll say they're from Europe. I've met a few from Canada as well. And some of them have actually said that they normally would fly to the United States for a vacation, but decided to go elsewhere. And I asked them, if the shit didn't happen in the United States, would you be here? And most of the time, they actually say no. I wish I could do on-the-spot interviews with them, but I also don't want to expose my identity as well. So there definitely is a lot more international travel going elsewhere. And even the locals here are saying that they're seeing a lot more international people come in. Now, the last one is from the US, and it's titled, Canadians are boycotting US ski slopes. Now, it talks about Jay Peak Resort in Vermont, and I've done previous reports on this resort. And in the past, they were saying because of the conditions, the Canadians won't be able to resist coming back. So fast forward to today. Let me read this part. So when Steve Wright, Jay Peak's resort president and general manager, saw at the start of summer that Canadian renewals for 2025 and 2026 had fallen an alarming 35%, he jumped into action, calling about 100 Canadian season pass holders to personally ask why they hadn't made plans to return. As Wright testified before Congress shortly after a forum on the Orange McNuggets trade war, he quotes, many had tears and were choking up over the fact that they just couldn't, in good conscience, come to the United States. I don't know, in tears sounds like a bit of an exaggeration, but I think we get the point. Now, just to be clear, I don't think it was Steve Wright that basically said that because of the conditions, the Canadians will come back. I believe it was someone else from a ski association that basically said that, basically about all the mountains. Now, it's not just Jay Peak Resort having problems. Ski resorts all the way from Montana to Maine are having similar issues. And I'm sure most of them have offers like dollar at par and other packages that they're trying to lure Canadians back with. The article then goes on to say that winter resorts won't know for sure if the season was a bust until sometime in March, when Quebec and Ontario school breaks usually bring in peak Canadian traffic. But the signs so far are troubling. According to a survey in Canadian travel agency owners and managers conducted at the end of 2025 by Travel Weekly and market research Focusrite, 78% of their gross bookings were down from the same period of last year. As of January 22nd, Canadian bookings to American resorts for winter arrival were down about 41%, compared to just a 5% drop among US customers. So what does this tell me right now? Well, despite the fact that they actually got a lot of snow, Canadians are still not going. And 41% of them said no, and I'm going to guess it's because of either the 51st state rhetoric, the safety at the border, or the disrespect. The article then goes on to talk about Vermont a little bit more, and I want to read this out to you, everyone. In Vermont, where tourism accounts for roughly 9% of the gross domestic product, compared with about 3% nationally, officials say the pullback in visits from Canada cost roughly $75 million in revenue last year. Now, that $75 million had to go somewhere else, and I think most of it probably went to Canada as well as overseas. But what I'm showing you right now is a map of Vermont in terms of their political voting. Yes, there's a lot of blue there, But there is also a lot of light red, which means that it's a mixed area. So when I see 75 million has lost their economy, yes, it is sad that some people who didn't vote for what's going on right now are losing money. But on the flip side, those that did vote for the Orange McNugget are also losing the money as well. And for those people, I have no sympathy for. Now, I had another article that was sent to me by Abby, one of our longtime channel supporters. And this article just further emphasizes the loss of money that they've had over the last year. I'll read this part out to you. Dan Kelleher, President and CEO of the Regional Office of Sustainable Tourism for the Adirondack Mountains, I don't know how to pronounce that, told CBC News that the impact could be felt across the region, with millions of dollars in lost revenue from absent Canadian tourists. We are estimating that we've lost roughly 14 million in our region from lost sales to Canadians not coming. Now, I just did a quick Google search on the Regional Office of Sustainable Tourism, and it looks like they're based out of New York. So it looks like now we have New York reporting 14 million in lost revenue from Canadians, and Vermont losing 75 million. Now, I'm going to vent a little bit, and I know some of you guys like my venting. But I got some emails and even DMs on Blue Sky from people in the United States on the left saying that I'm being too harsh. You know, these are people's lives that are at stake here and their livelihoods and blah, blah, blah. And they were also saying that I should show more compassion and support these businesses that didn't vote for the Orange McNugget. I never respond to any of these DMs or emails, but here's my response to it, and I'm going to tell everybody. Canada is not here to save your problem. And the problem that you have is sitting in the White House. You know, this guy with the makeup on his hand. And the one that's actually threatening my country. Oh yeah, and the same guy that also showed a map of US and Canada, with Canada covered in the United States flag. So for anyone who emailed me or DM'd me saying that I'm too harsh, just take a look at what your president is doing. Now, going back to the ski resort topic, I want to show you a clip that was created probably about 3 months ago or maybe 4 months ago when the ski season was starting. And it was a statement from the National Ski Association president who said that at the end of the day, it's all about the snow and that the Canadians will be back.
Skiers and snowboarders may still travel south if the conditions are right, including plenty of powder.
It's always about the snow. And someone has great snow conditions, people are going to go to that ski area.
U.S. ski resorts will know soon whether their northern neighbors are ready to visit, with the make-or-break holiday season fast approaching.
So since the season is here and it's almost going to be over, how did you guys do? Did the Canadians flock to your mountains, even with the good conditions that you had? See, this is why I hate those arrogant statements, kind of like what this guy was saying back like 3 months ago. That despite everything that's going on, we can't resist the conditions and we'll be back. When people say things like this, it tells me two things. One, they don't take it seriously. They don't take it seriously that our country is being threatened and that we're genuinely pissed off. And two, they think so highly of the United States that everyone wants to flock there, despite everything that's going on. The United States is not the greatest country in the world. And I think some people are learning the hard way. So for any Canadians that used to go skiing or snowboarding in Vermont or New York, and you guys have stopped this year, I say well done. Because what I just showed you today is the direct impact of what you guys have done with your boycott. All right, that's all I have for today's video. If you found any value in anything I said today, or you want to hear more from a Canadian perspective, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button below. And turn on the notifications so you get notified right away once my videos come out. Thanks everyone, I'll see you in the next one.